All right, Real in the Field. We're here with a new episode 7.
That's right.
Yeah, we're just blowing through these things. And that is a new theme song that you heard there. We got a brand new one. That is from a friend of the show, Blake Means, from Name Taken, one of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
One of the bands that came out of our alma mater, El Medina High School.
Yeah.
So listen to that. If you didn't catch that on the intro, rewind, go back and listen to it because it's a great song. And thanks to Blake Means for putting that together.
Thank you, Blake.
Yeah. All right, new episode here.
Let's do it.
We've got a lot going on in the sports world. We've got the NFL's just shaken up all sorts of different ways. We've got some trades. What do we got? We got free agency, and what do we got?
The first domino to fall.
Yeah.
The Bears traded away the number 1 draft pick.
Just got rid of it. Said we don't need it.
Kind of. Well, that means they're settling on their quarterback Justin Fields from previous.
Yeah.
And they traded to the Panthers.
Okay.
Panthers had to trade away a lot to the Bears. But what I thought was weird, the Panthers also, through free agency, got Andy Dalton, so an old-timer quarterback.
Gotcha.
So you got to
Crafty
assume
veteran.
he's going to be the backup,
Yeah.
or he's going to be there to kind of teach the ropes to the new guy that they're going to
Right.
draft.
So they're going to take that number 1 pick, go out and get themselves a quarterback.
They say it's going to be one of 3 guys.
Yeah.
You got C.J. Stroud from Ohio State.
Right.
You got Bryce Young from Alabama, and you got Richardson from Florida.
Yeah.
Richardson's that guy. He blew up at the combine.
Right.
Looked the part. Was throwing bombs. Great
Dude.
numbers.
Yeah.
Right?
Could be deceiving.
And we talked about that
Yeah.
on previous episodes. So they say it's going to be one of those 3 guys. Personally, I think it's going to be C.J. Stroud from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think he is a little bit more NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a little bit more NFL ready.
Yeah, I mean, you
size
see,
and
like you can
development.
see, like the way that offenses are designed. Some of them are better suited to transfer over to the NFL. They run similar plays and have similar formations that kind of transfer a little bit easier. If you're still running the wing T, it might be a little difficult going into going into the NFL.
Easy, Nebraska in '91. Yeah.
So you think he'll be the number 1? You think he'll go? It makes the most sense.
I think he had a really good showing at the combine. I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably. I don't
He'll be
know,
the
but
guy.
you never know. But yeah, I think he'll be the guy.
And you think day 1 that he'll be starter? You think he's going to need some time to kind of
And
get
Andy
settled
Dalton's
in?
gonna go.
I mean, Andy Dalton's been around forever, and he just kind of is the guy that will get you kind of get you what you need.
Hasn't had anything good since TCU days. No, I mean nowadays when they pay guys, they expect. The
results.
days of Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre for a long time, or Tom Brady sitting behind Drew Bledsoe, like those days are long gone.
Yeah. Show me what you got.
Long gone.
Whoever it is that's going to come out and
now.
throw the ball and start making some plays and win some games, that's going to be the starter day 1.
Yeah. So that's it on the first pick. That was
Yeah.
the first domino to fall.
Yeah.
And this kind of trickle effect.
And then just everything else is you got teams picking up. I mean, the Broncos picked up, I think, 185 players. How many players did they end up with? 10?
I think 10, yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Jesus, they're just shopping.
Well, dude, Sean Payton, we talked about him. He's coming in. What does the new coach do? Here's my philosophy, whatever.
Yeah.
And he needs to win now.
Let's start getting guys that
He's like, we need this guy. We need this guy. But I think also they opened up the checkbook and said, this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Well,
when
this,
you make that
this
kind
is
of
a situation that we're in.
Yeah, you make a financial commitment to Russell Wilson, and you're just like you're in it. All right, let's start kind of getting some players to surround him, and this is going to be our guy. We committed to it, so and whatever it is, sink or swim.
And he got sacked. He got sacked. I think it was him and Stafford maybe at the top. It was it's something like that. But
Stafford would have gotten
top.
sacked more if he didn't get injured. I guarantee you. That's
Yeah.
been that was the thing that plagued the Rams that last season. One of the kind of worst, like going from Super Bowl, I guess Super Bowl hangover, if you want to call it that.
Dude,
One of the worst ones.
1,000%.
One of the worst ones. And
I think it is the worst one in like history. I think.
yeah, I think you're right. And it makes sense when you lose guys like Whitworth, you lose your anchor on that offensive line, and then throughout the season have just plagued with injuries, just player after player. We can go through every single player nobody was exempt from getting some kind of injury.
Well, Stafford got hurt.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald got hurt.
Yep.
Who else got hurt?
Oh, well, Noteboom went down. Allen went down. Center
The
went
entire
down.
offensive line went out.
Everybody went out
Yeah.
like twice, 3 times. ACLs, ankle, stomach aches, dude, everything.
hangnails.
Hangnails.
Yeah.
Yeah, turf toe. Which, dude, that actually is a
That's
thing.
actually like a bad thing.
Yeah, I've had that once, and I don't wish that on my
Yeah,
my worst enemy.
That's no joke. But yeah, so there's an old saying. So I'm going to take the Rams for example.
Sure.
Getting to the top is exciting.
Yeah.
Staying at the top is exhausting.
Oh boy, yeah. No, you're right.
And that hangover, it's an emotional dump. It's God, we made it. Now
Yeah.
what? Like it's so hard. So
Well,
I wasn't shocked that
Yeah.
day.
Well, it makes sense. Like teams over the years, it seems like it's like we've fought so hard to get to this point. We've gotten here. Here we are, and now what are we fighting for now?
Yes.
And I'm sure there's still that fight in every player. Everybody will tell you, hey, that fight never went away. But there's something, I'm sure, that like the mentality of having gotten that thing off your shoulder, that hey, we've checked that box kind of,
Yes.
and now that fire isn't as blazing as it was.
Yeah.
Like with Aaron Donald, for example, that guy was just hunting for his ring. And now you got it, and it's like, okay, are we going to hunt for another one? That fire ain't the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same fire that you have when you're going out for that first one.
But that makes guys who have done it 3 times in a row in any sport, Jordan, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Dude, that's super impressive.
It's all that more
Super
impressive. I
yeah.
know. And I hate, there's part of me that, just
Hates those guys.
hate saying it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to respect it.
Yeah.
Guys like Tom Brady, and I've kind of hated on Tom Brady, not only because of just how he just gets it done, and he gets it done against like teams that I like or the team that I like, and gets it done.
And he's handsome.
And he does it all with with a nice smile, and just like, God damn it. But it is like you have to hand it to him. It is very impressive, especially when you think about all like all that hangover, the things like we're talking about, rebuilding. Having pieces being moved around and still being able to get to that position. And it's no reason or no wonder why guys like Bill Belichick will go down in history as one of the best, because he's done whatever he's been given. He's like made something of it, whatever that formula is. And it seems like, Sean McVay is trying to do that same thing, now getting rid of like Jalen Ramsey and saying like, hey, we need to free up some cap space. We need to get this guy off our books and just like refocus. I'm hoping that the Rams refocus and get, put some money in that line, because they haven't gotten anybody at this point.
Yeah, no, they haven't. And it's hard. I remember an old coach kind of told me, like, don't fall in love with the player.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the performance.
Oh, sure.
And Belichick, I remember, you probably remember this as a kid growing up, and we're watching, they had Wes Welker. Mm-hmm. They had Danny Amendola. They had, all those little slot receivers.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're like, oh my gosh, how could you trade that guy? Oh gosh, how could you trade that guy?
Yeah.
Like, dude, because it's a business, and deep down he knew, like, that guy's a great guy.
Substitute this player for another one that can do that.
He can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Don't fall in love with the guy. Don't fall in love with the player. Fall in love with performance. And he's not getting it done. I need somebody else. And that's how cutthroat the NFL is.
Yeah, it seems like, Bill Belichick had a good way of just kind of like using players for all that they were, squeezing every ounce of.
And he knew the right time to get rid of them.
Time. Yeah, the right time to just kind of get them off the books and then bring in somebody else that's going to do that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of, there's some brilliance in that. And, I'm hoping that. I mean, it's seemingly like we talked about before with, with Les Snead and with Sean McVay. It seems like they've got a good plan in place, and they've got a good kind of like horse sense, I guess. Like, they know what they are looking for, and they know how to find it. That's been the one kind of thing that is different than the Jeff Fisher days when it just was just there was no rhyme or reason to anything.
Yeah,
Let's go for it on 4th and 1. Why? I don't know. Let's just do it.
Because I'm Jeff Fisher.
Because I'm Jeff Fisher, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But it seems like at least there is. It's seemingly like things are done for with purpose, and there's a greater kind of plan, and maybe it is that kind of Bill Belichick kind of plan. Maybe it is. Hey, let's refocus on the offensive line. Let's get some more. Weapons on offense. It can't just be Cooper Kupp all day long. Like, we need some offensive weapons, or just let's just refocus and building up our offensive line and give Matthew Stafford some time to just get it to whoever that may be. Maybe it's Van Jefferson, maybe it's Cooper Kupp, or whoever it is. But it at least seems like you kind of have to trust that process and know that Jalen Ramsey is going, and it's going to free up some space. We'll see kind of what happens next. And
all right, so we have the Broncos who've taken like 10 dudes.
Yeah.
You have the Rams who haven't really
nothing
done.
Giving away just everything.
You want this guy? You have this guy.
Yeah.
Then let's jump to the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders making
moves.
moves.
11 guys. Okay, and then the probably most important guy they took.
Yeah.
Jimmy, handsome G.
That
guy is so good looking.
Yeah,
Jimmy G signed him for 3 years.
Yeah.
And, dude, they got rid of Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Obviously, something wasn't vibing there. And Jimmy G needed a home, dude. And the Raiders are like,
yeah, he found one. He found one.
Let's do it.
Good on him. I've always liked Jimmy G. I've always, I think, being a Rams fan, like Rams face San Francisco over and over again every year. And seeing him play, I mean, God, he's gotten a bad rap for, I don't know, I think, we had talked about it before because he's kind of a good-looking guy. Maybe that's what, like...
He's too handsome.
Too handsome.
Yeah.
And he's lost in big moments, and I think a lot of the emphasis on those losses gets put on him, or a lot of the reason gets put on him. Yeah, a lot of the responsibility, it's always like, on the quarterback.
But he did a great job back in the day stepping in for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to throw this out. He's done a great job in every role he's been given.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's been Tom Brady's backup.
Yep.
Tom went down with, whatever. Jimmy G stepped in. Just righted the ship. He did what he was supposed to do.
Did what he was brought in to do.
Goes to the nine, like, oh, yeah, you're kind of our guy. But we're going to draft this quarterback. We're going to get Trey Lance. We're going to get Brock Purdy. We're going to get all these guys behind you. Well, am I really your guy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now... the Raiders are like,
we're all in.
We believe in you.
Yeah.
So I believe that he has done a good job setting himself up.
Yeah.
Now, is the Raiders the right organization? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least the guy's feeling some love now
for
people who want him.
That's true. And I think that goes a long way. Like knowing that, your job is always on the line. I mean, that's kind of that might not be the best kind of situation to play in. That might not be the best headspace to be in, knowing that, hey, if you make a wrong move, there's like 2 people lined up that are going to take your job.
You're on eggshells.
Yeah.
That's one way to play.
And, conversely, when he's now with the Raiders and he's the dude, he's the man, they got rid of, I mean, say what you will about Derek Carr. I mean, he was a baller. He got stuff done when he needed to.
Yeah.
He was always like, I mean, he was the kind of the face of that organization for a really long time.
He's the number 1 passer in Raider history, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, that says a lot about, especially with some of the greats that were there. But it's kind of, I think Jimmy G will. I think he'll do well there. Yeah. I think he'll find. I think without that kind of pressure of just like everyone coming after your job, as long as he stays healthy, because that's been the thing that's kind of plagued him like his entire career.
As for anybody, but yeah,
yeah.
For sure.
But staying healthy and if these next couple years, if he can, if I think he's in a good division too to kind of stand out. I mean, admittedly, the NFC West is like a really tough division. And I think it was always kind of tough for him to be the top dog, the top top quarterback in that division. And I don't know. I think he'll do well with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Dolphins. The Dolphins making some moves too.
Yeah.
Picking up Jalen Ramsey. I mean, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that pickup? What do you think?
Jalen's good. I've seen Jalen in person.
Yeah.
Because we've been to Rams
Oh,
practices.
dude, the Rams practice, right?
I've been to a couple Rams practices,
Yeah.
been to some games and stuff.
Yep.
Watched him in the Super Bowl a couple years back.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like losing a step or what, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good for the Dolphins. I think it's really good. They also picked up, I believe his name's Mike White. He's the guy who stepped in for the Jets last year.
Right.
So he's a quarterback. So they wanted to get a good backup just in case Tua or what's going on with Tua and all that stuff. But I think Jalen's a good pickup for them.
Yeah.
Dude, the Dolphins are right on the cusp. That whole division is so tough.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
this is like the most competitive it's ever been.
Man, if those guys were on the other side in the NFC, like, my gosh, it would be so much easier for them.
Dude, I mean, just those two, with Miami having Tyreek Hill, the deep threat. I mean,
He's so good.
That guy is so fast.
He is so good. Did you see him in that? In that track meet?
Yeah, just dusting everybody.
He just blew the doors off at everybody.
Yeah,
it was like they were standing still.
Oh man, that guy. He is quick.
Yes, real fast.
And such a big it's a difference. That's the difference maker when you have somebody that's a deep threat like that just at any moment can just burn you. You just got to respect it and always play deep, and that just opens up like pretty much everything else.
Yeah, but dude, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, the dude, everybody is so close.
Yeah.
So I think what would be the difference? Would a Jalen Ramsey, bring the Dolphins up a notch?
Yeah.
Like,
I will say, Jalen Ramsey, what he brings to the team, because like you said, like we've watched him a lot. We've watched him, on the sidelines. Here's the part that maybe isn't. There's no line item or there's no stat that can kind of give you the, him being vocal on the sideline, him picking up his players, him telling his players, where they should be, getting in position, being kind of like that anchor. When Aaron Donald went out, it seemed like Jalen Ramsey stepped up and was that voice of the defense. And, I guess that's not really saying much for a team that, had the kind of season that they had. But even still, like that kind of leadership, I think that's going to go a long way for that Miami defense, who's pretty good. Or
dude, they're good themselves already. Yeah.
So you get that, like somebody, an anchor in the secondary. And look, everybody kind of has their opinion on Jalen and Ramsey and how he's not the shutdown corner that he was, but he still is a producer, even if it's just as a leader.
Yeah.
And you see him when he's like, he's never kind of hot dogging on a play. Like he's always just like in it. He's always making he's the first one to fly to the ball. He's just a good team player, I think. And I think, it was a good pickup for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think the Rams will. I mean, I understood why the Rams had to do it and free up that space. It's kind of a bummer to see him go, but like we always talk about, it's a business and it's cutthroat, and this is just kind of the name of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
speaking of name of the game and the cutthroat business,
there
are two organizations that are being held hostage.
Yeah.
By one guy.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Has the Packers and the Jets hostage.
Yeah.
There is not that much time left in free agency, and everyone is waiting on that guy. He went into the dark room.
Yeah.
He went on his ayahuasca, or whatever you call it, drug binge.
Ayahuasca, yeah.
Yeah, that too. Tomato, whatever. And everyone's just waiting.
I think people have grown tired of this whole
for sure.
bullshit.
But once he makes his, the Packers. I saw an interview with one of the Packers front office guys.
Yeah,
they are ready to move on.
Oh man,
they are ready to move on. The Jets in free agency, when it picked up a Packers receiver.
Oh, really?
that Aaron likes.
Yeah.
So they're trying
Trying
to
to woo him over.
get him going a little bit. But
Yeah.
time is running out. He's got to make a decision here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, like shit or get off the pot, right?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, what are you doing here? Like we go through this whole kind of saga. I mean, how many years have we done this now? Is he or will he or won't he? You know,
Yeah.
it's the whole Ross and Rachel thing. Will they or won't they?
He goes off the Lambeau Field doing this bit. Like,
Dude, we don't
on,
need
dude.
your shit. Just like play football and just make a decision. It doesn't need to be that complicated, in all honesty. At this point,
agree.
if you want to stay in Green Bay, stay in Green Bay. If you're tired of Green Bay, get out of Green Bay and go somewhere and find, some greener pasture, whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
And if that's in New York, if that's with the Jets, then so be it. Go out there, go get your payday and, go compete in that division. But this whole kind of the whole waiting around, making people wait, playing this like kind of head game thing. This ain't what football is about.
I feel like it's a little bit of a selfish power move.
Yeah. It's all ego for sure.
Like, big time ego.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And it's such a turnoff.
It is.
It's such a turnoff. Because all the stuff I've seen of Aaron, he seems like a pretty low-key, like, down-to-earth guy.
Yeah.
Works hard.
Yeah.
And just doing antics like this, it's just like,
It's just
dude, I don't want anything to do with
Dude,
you.
nobody wants that. Just, it flies in the face of what we kind of appreciate about football, which is just kind of, the Bill Belichick shut up and do your job kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he said shut up, but whatever it was, like, just do your job. Do your job. And that's kind of always been like, that's been a big, one of the reasons why we love it so much, because it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. If you do your job, that's like what we respect, right?
Yeah.
And this kind of like,
Once you make it about you,
yeah,
it is a instant
turn off.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like lose respect. I mean, I know for me, I've always been, I've always enjoyed watching him play because he's a,
stud,
dude,
dude.
he's a stud. He's one of the
so
best.
good. He's a
He'll
future
go
Hall of
down
Famer.
as one of the best.
Dude, he's a future Hall of
quarterbacks.
Famer, hands down.
For
First
sure.
ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, dude, why sully your name with all this kind of like this shenanigans of indecision?
Okay, is it an older guy move? Remember Brett Favre, Hampton Hod, he went to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Joe Montana left the Niners, went to the Chiefs, right? Like, there's always that, like, last-ditch effort.
Yeah. But I feel like with those guys, it was because they didn't want to leave the game. They wanted to be in it still. I don't know. The Brett Favre thing was kind of a weird one.
Dude, Aaron's old, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe he's just trying to hold on to whatever. Maybe it's a gameplay. Maybe it's a business decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, if that's the case, I guess do your thing and get your payday. But it's off-putting as a football fan and seeing like
very true.
everything kind of like unfold. And then, like you said, you're leaving these two teams hostage. Green Bay wants to move on. I'm sure if you're gonna go, like, all right, let's break up and just move on, and let me find somebody else to come in here and just get to work on getting our organization in contention for a Super Bowl. And then the Jets are the same way. What are we doing here? Tell us what we're doing.
Yeah.
Give me a direction and just let's make a decision and move on with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, such as
Time will
I guess,
tell.
yeah, time will
And
tell.
pretty soon it's on. I mean, he's got a couple days.
Yeah, he's got to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We got a game coming up here. What do we got this week? What game we got?
This week, believe it or not.
Believe it or not. All right.
Yes.
New game here. Believe it or not, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. Today's episode is brought to you by DK's Donuts of Orange. DK's is family owned and operated and carries a wide selection of freshly baked donuts. Stop by for a morning treat, an afternoon snack, or even a late night sugar fix. Follow their Instagram page at DK's Donuts Orange for store information or to order online. All right, and we're back. All right, what do we got this week? What game we got?
All right, we're going with believe it or not.
Believe it or not. Okay.
We're going to start off with kind of light, easy topics, and then it's going to get progressively a little heavier.
Okay.
And a little bit more serious, you could say. So,
all right.
Starting off light, coming at you, believe it or not, in Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. I don't believe it. The footage that you see is just like so choppy and kind of like, I mean, it could be a dude in a suit and just could be a goof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, it's probably Jimmy Kimmel playing this like really long con game. He's gonna come out and be like, "Oh, it turns out he was the one that did it."
Yeah.
So I don't know if I believe on in that one.
So we're going not.
I'm gonna go not.
Yeah. I don't believe it.
You?
I have a really bad Android phone,
Yeah.
and I take pictures and I can zoom in on stuff. And every picture of Bigfoot I've ever seen has been like the worst picture of all time.
Yeah.
So if this guy was real, you would think there would be a legit picture.
Oh, dude, by now, something.
Like, you can't go anywhere without something being filmed,
Oh yeah.
talked about.
Oh, there's no way
no
at this
way.
point. Like someone would have to have caught that if
Yes.
he did exist somewhere.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. It's a not.
Yeah. Not.
It's just, it ain't there.
Yeah.
It ain't there. And have you seen all the people who really believe?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, those yahoos.
Exactly. And it's all in like one area in the Pacific Northwest. Like, nah, I'm not having it.
Coincidentally, they're like really heavy into like moonshine and stuff
Right.
out there. It's like,
Right.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
see.
then when they do talk about Bigfoot, they always throw in, well, they have magic. That's why you can't see them. The second you hear that, it's like, okay, we're moving on. Okay, next one. UFOs /
okay.
aliens.
All right. I almost feel like it's statistically impossible for there not to be some other life form that exists in the universe. The universe is so like massive and expansive and like never ending that it's just by the numbers there has to be something that exists. But like kind of how we think about aliens, like they come down in this like little ship and they're these like, you know, little people with like big eyes and big heads. Like, I don't believe it's that.
Okay, then what is it? Okay, let's just do it. Let's split it.
All
UFOs. Like, you've seen footage. By the way, that footage is shady and shaky all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
It's not the best.
Just
yeah.
saying.
All
just
right.
saying.
Okay, whether or not an alien life form has like come here to like observe us, I don't know. I just the numbers would say that it's more likely than it is not likely. It's
I
more
don't
likely
want the
that
numbers.
it exists.
I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I think that just
UFOs.
I would say yes, there are unidentified flying objects that have come here from a distant land. I mean, we're talking about like millions, billions of years. How old is the universe? How old is the entire, like our universe is like, you know, how like millions or billions of years old, probably billions. Just the amount of time that, you know, that amount of time that goes by that there has to be some kind of life form or some civilization that started, ended, started again, developed, developed the kind of what it would take to get from a really distant land to here, from another solar system. I would say, yeah, that's very possible. Billions of years?
Aliens. What about aliens?
Well, I mean, by definition, I guess anything that's from another planet that comes here is an alien. So, yeah, I guess I do have to believe in aliens. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you?
No.
Oh,
Not at all. Not at all.
I think just statistic, like by the numbers, it would have to exist.
No.
Nothing exists beyond the Earth.
No. No. Okay, and here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Here's my reasoning. Okay. You look at all the other planets in our solar system, right? Anything going on?
I mean,
Whole lot of nothing.
okay, sure, but
Whole lot of nothing.
well, I don't know
Okay.
if that's exactly true. I don't think we've explored every planet to a point where we can say there's no life. But
We're pretty sure that there's not a whole lot going on other
yeah,
planets.
but that's like 8 planets in a very small. That's 8 compared to the billions or trillions of like solar
Okay.
systems that are out there.
Okay. Never has there been physical evidence of a UFO here that the general public knows about.
Yeah.
All the sightings of aliens and UFOs has been in the United States.
Okay, fair enough.
Every other country is like, what are you guys talking about over there? Nobody knows, right? We are obsessed with
Right.
UFOs, sci-fi, aliens.
Yeah.
I feel like it is something that we want as human beings so bad.
Okay.
That there's something like, even bigger,
beyond,
better,
yeah.
beyond.
All right,
You know what?
I'll
There's
understand
not.
that.
There's not. Dude, we have created this stuff, and I don't believe in it in one bit.
All right, fair enough. I'll meet you halfway and say that maybe no alien has kind of come in contact with our universe and our like Earth specifically.
Okay.
But I will differ from you, or I'll kind of I'll split with you that there's life forms on another planet. Maybe they just haven't gotten here, but they exist.
Okay. The same way we don't believe in Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
No physical evidence.
Yeah.
No Bigfoot doo-doos, drop-ins anywhere.
Drop-ins.
Right?
Well, how different would it be, though?
There's no Bigfoot kids running around.
Yeah.
None of that
Yeah,
stuff.
medium foot.
Yeah, there's none of that stuff going, right? If aliens and UFOs were really going on,
Yeah.
you're telling me not one of those things would crash. You're not telling me one of those things there'd be a hiccup where it would be like, hey, what's this little green guy doing here? There's no way, dude.
Yeah.
They are not, I do not believe it in one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
one got a
government's
flat
hiding
tire.
them. The government, like, yeah, not one of
No,
those things
all right.
ran out of gas
All you
and didn't,
yeah.
and didn't accidentally do emergency landing. There's no way, dude. I don't
I-
buy it. I
okay,
feel like as
I'm-
humans, we want it so much that we will believe it because we want it so much, and I don't believe it.
I'll go with you on that, but I'll say that yeah, maybe they haven't like landed here and they haven't come here, and for that reason they haven't like their ships haven't broken down here. But if you just were to like just draw a straight line from here to a billion galaxies over, there's another planet that has a life form on it. And whether that life form is in its infancy and still kind of like a little, I don't know, baby zygote.
Bacteria?
Bacteria, right. And that is going to, at some point, become a civilization. Or if a civilization has grown and then like died off, and a meteor hit it or whatever, and it's like now died off. All right, fine, but that has somewhere that exists or has existed, and it's like kind of, I feel like it's kind of come and gone like a fucking billion times over. Like it's impossible for it not to be. It's impossible for us to be the only life form, the only inhabitable planet in the entire solar system or universe that we know.
But why not?
Just
but why not?
Numbers wise, it wouldn't be. It's like not feasible that could be a thing. We're unique, very unique in that we have oxygen and stuff that like things can grow on this planet, including like life. But there are plenty of other planets that have similar, makeup that could do the same thing. Implant like a bacteria that just eventually grows into a human life form, or not a human, but just like a life form. It's impossible.
All I'm saying, no proof, don't believe in it, right? And I've heard all the stories of like people seeing UFOs, right? And like stuff
That's
like
all
that.
bullshit, first of all, yeah.
Okay,
That's
we're
bullshit.
like, I remember like an old neighbor was like, oh, I was like sitting on my spa and I saw it flying over. Like, whatever, dude. You're a weirdo. Right?
Yeah. Moonshine, same. Moonshine
Exactly.
State.
Have you ever seen the movie Fire in the Sky?
Oh, I don't think I have, no.
Okay, so Fire in the Sky came out. We were little cats.
Yeah.
And it was about these guys, again, up in the Pacific Northwest who don't have really much to do.
Yeah.
Saw a light, an object, whatever. They drive out. A dude gets out of the car and is like, oh, hey, guys, check it out. And he gets beamed up.
Oh.
Right. Total scary, creepy movie.
Yeah.
Goes through alien ship, probe, the whole, he gets the,
Yeah.
right, he gets the full inspection type of deal. Movie creeped me out.
Yeah.
I slept in my brother's room for like 2
Oh my
weeks.
gosh.
Yeah, slept. Kevin Mitchell let me shack up with him. It was really scary. But as a kid, I didn't like watching that movie. I didn't believe in it. It just
Oh,
scared me. I
just the
didn't
thought
believe in
of
it.
that.
Just the thought of it
Yeah.
scared me. But deep down, I was like, "That's not real."
Yeah, that's not gonna
So
happen.
even
Right.
then, as a kid, I've
You've
never.
been skeptical since you were
Yes,
little
yes,
Joe.
yeah. Even though I had to sleep in my brother's room. Yeah. Okay, moving on from the UFOs and the aliens. All right, believe it or not, in ghosts or spirits.
I mean, it's kind of like similar to like aliens, like kind of how we think about ghosts. It's like these like sheets with like holes in the eyes, like kind of coming around, like hovering and
Like
kind of.
Halloween ghosts, like
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that I would say if I believed in anything, it would just be like in an energy that's like kind of like out.
ooh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I think that there can be a persistent energy that kind of lingers, and maybe that's not even with
Is
like
that a
a
spirit?
spirit.
Is that a person?
See, this is the kind of where you get into like the weeds a little bit about like subconscious thought and kind of like where you could kind of like manifest things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I feel
Oh,
like
you mean like how aliens are real?
that's not a manifestation. That's factual.
Okay.
But you can like manifest things like base or just like with your mind, like what you are, whatever you feed
Yeah,
it.
power of the mind.
Power
You
to
can
power the
convince
mind.
yourself, yes.
Yeah, and like if you set your mind to certain things. Now, I think that somebody can leave an impression on you so much so that it like will come out in your subconscious and you'll like see things and kind of experience things. I mean, maybe even kind of like, have a like move things or something. Like I could even see there being like the mind being that powerful to kind of like have an energy that does something that kind of moves. But the whole like spirit kind of, I don't know, like being around and kind of just hanging and, knocking over books and stuff. I don't know if I believe in that.
No?
No.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm gonna go no. Also,
Yeah.
I'm not a believer. Ghost. I don't know. I've never had any like relative try to like
Yeah,
visit
come back
me
and
or
yeah.
anything like that. Spirits. I'm kind of with you on the energy part. Like, there's probably like, yeah, there's like a vibe thing.
Yeah, some kind of like something that's like lingers maybe.
Yeah, but nothing that you can really like put your finger on.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I feel like it would there would be a lot more like kind of, I don't know, something tangible that you can
Yeah.
kind of like, grasp onto if that was the case.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stories, again, Pacific Northwest, Moonshine State, like everyone's just, sees
Yeah.
spirits and sees things. Like, well, did you? Did you?
Yeah.
Or were you just really fucking hammered?
Correct. Okay.
But I have heard stories, like some kind of unexplainable stories of things that have happened. And I'm sure we'll hear them, after this comes out, people
Yeah.
talking about how much like, oh yeah, this thing happened and it was for sure a spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let us know.
Yeah.
Next one, reincarnation. Do you believe it or not?
Ooh, reincarnation. Well, I mean, I feel like if you believe in reincarnation, then you kind of have to believe in what, like, a spirit or something like beforehand. Maybe not.
I mean, not necessarily.
That's a tough one because I mean, that's a tough one. Gee, I don't know, honestly. I don't think I've ever really kind of thought of it if that was like a thing. I mean, if somebody like so all right, are we talking about like reincarnation where somebody like comes back and can kind of recite like where this other person lived and remembering all their memories kind of
No,
thing?
I'm saying, I'll throw this out. You have like had previous lives.
Oh. Nah, I don't know if I buy into all that.
Right? You know what I'm saying, though.
No,
Where
I
it's
get what
like,
you're saying.
you've had previous lives.
You
Maybe,
retain no
yeah.
memories from
And then
those.
you just
You're just a
your recycled soul,
that's
and you
what
get
like
put
you. I
into.
think that's why you would have to kind of say like then you would have to believe in spirits and there being like a thing that gets kind of transferred over. I don't know if I buy it. I think you just kind of you're born, you become this personality and then you die and then it just kind of like that's it. Here you go. You're
Yeah.
one with the earth again.
Okay.
And then that's kind of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what about you? Do you believe in reincarnation?
No, the only thing that gets me with the reincarnation thing is when we
The
have
Dalai
like,
Lama.
no,
Does it eat like get reincarnated or something?
maybe, like, I'm not sure. When you have like deja vu,
Oh,
so that gets me a little bit when you've had deja vu. You're like, I've done this before.
dude, you
Like
want to hear my
what? Like
theory on
what?
deja vu? So this is what I think that deja vu is.
Okay.
All right. So kind of go with me on this. So I think that there is like just call it a circuit, right? A line that goes from what you are seeing, and then it goes, all right, seeing, and then it's going to get stored into your short-term memory, and then your short-term memory goes, all right, I'm going to put this, like once it kind of enough time has passed, I'm going to put it in an existing memory so that you can recall kind of later, right?
Okay.
Memories are coming in as you're seeing it, as this is happening currently. It's going in, getting put in the short memory, and then it'll get banked to the long memory later.
Okay.
What I think deja vu is that it circumvented that short term and gets stored directly to the long term memory. And so you're reading this as you're picking it up as wait a minute, like it's being stored in the long term memory. So you're kind of going like this is an existing memory when really it's just being fed into your long term memory by mistake. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Dude,
does.
like I've had this theory for a very long time and just thinking about like
Okay, if it's going straight to your long term though,
yeah,
and bypassing the short and the existing,
yeah.
why would it like even spark anything if it's going straight to the long?
So that's what it is. It's like it's simultaneously being stored and shown simultaneously. It's being fed to your
just
long
not
term.
stopping.
It's not stopping, and then it's still playing, and you're recalling it, and you're going, why is this being recalled from my long term memory like an existing memory? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it should be a memory that's being kind of like consumed or like put into the short term bank as, hey, this is something that's currently happening, and then it's supposed to get stored later, and it's just going around that, bypassing that, and going straight to the long term and going, this is an existing memory. You've already seen this, and this is stored. You know what I mean? It's just kind of getting
Wow.
like rerouted. Yeah,
Listen to
dude, what do you think
you.
about that?
Bill Nye the Science Guy over here. Damn, that's pretty heavy stuff.
Dude,
I told you we were going light to heavy. We're getting heavy now.
Deep to shallow. Wait, shallow to
Wow.
deep.
Damn, dude, that's intense.
Dude, isn't that like kind of something like it makes kind of sense that it could be that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Makes you think.
Last one for believe it or not. Your dreams have meaning.
Oh, dreams having me. I think, well, kind of like, here's my theory. I'll give you my theory on like dreams, like my theory on deja vu. I think the dreams are just kind of like a portrayal of what your subconscious mind is already kind of like where it's running, right? So almost like the screensaver of your brain, right? Throughout the day, you've got all this stuff that kind of goes on, and it's all just kind of like going on in the background. It's like in the back in your memories, just kind of like storing them back there. And I think
Yeah.
when you go to sleep, like a screensaver comes on. But instead of like the screensaver where you got that pipe that just kind of like goes like, like this.
Or the windows flying at
Dude,
you.
the windows, you're right,
Or
yeah.
the toaster flying at
The
you.
toasters. Instead of just that screensaver,
Yeah.
it kind of pulls up like all the memories of the day or what you're kind of thinking about, maybe your fears for the day or just like any kind of like whatever kind of was going on in your life.
Yeah.
And it just goes like, hey, let's let's paint a portrait of what all this stuff is in a very abstract way. Let's not make it so clear that we are going to like it's going to be clear as day where you go, oh, that's very obviously what I've been thinking about and I've been like fearful of. I need to kind of address it.
Do dreams have meaning then? Because
I think it does. I think it's a peek into your subconscious in an abstract way.
Okay, so
You know what I mean?
you believe?
Yeah, I think they have me. I think it's hard to kind of dissect it. It's hard to kind of like sift through, and I don't know why your mind would couldn't just like give it to you, in a more obvious way, and not just like kind of throw these like random kind of like metaphors and stuff at you.
Yeah,
it's just kind of weird, but I think they do for sure have meaning.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm gonna go no. I think it's your brain just kind of, I don't know, detoxing for the day.
Yeah.
Just kind of
decompressing,
whatever stressed you out for the day, whatever you're worried about, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you were like, oh, the screensaver?
Yeah.
I think your brain just goes like, and like whatever squirts out, right? And if you do remember it from the dream, like whatever like comes out,
Yeah.
right, and goes in there, like, and it's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes they're kind of mashed up. That's why sometimes they're weird.
Oh, do
but
they
that's
jump
also
around?
sometimes why they make sense, and they like it's clear as day.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe it's something that you want or you don't want to happen. So
Yeah.
I think it's just your brain working itself out through.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
I don't think it's anything like meaning
Yeah.
as just like
It's kind of
just
random.
yeah,
random
kind of
stuff.
cleaning
Yeah.
up for the day.
Defragmenting
Yeah.
the memories and just kind of
Yeah.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
That's what I got. That's it. That's the end of Believe It or Not. We got a heavy
Oh boy, heavy.
commercial. Let's go.
All right, we're gonna take one more commercial break, and we'll be back after we've put some fucking what's that?
Sage.
Say we're gonna sage this goddamn room. And come back after this. Today's episode is brought to you by Caliber Real Estate Group. Caliber and their team of experienced agents are dedicated to providing personalized and professional service to ensure that your real estate goals are met with ease. Caliber specializes in a wide range of properties from luxurious estates to cozy starter homes, and they have the expertise to guide you through every step of the buying or selling process. Click the link in the episode's page to start your journey towards finding the perfect property or getting top dollar for your investment. All right, and we're back. We've saged the entire room. We've thrown some holy water everywhere, and I think,
We're good to go.
I think
We're
the
good to go.
spirits are gone.
We're good to go. Okay, so last week we
Yeah.
talked about if I were a seller
Yeah.
of my house, what are some things that I could do? And you gave me the top three. You said, let's declutter, let's
Right.
paint, and let's stage
Right.
to make everything look good and invite people in.
Yeah.
So, true story.
Okay.
This past weekend, went on a bike ride with the old family,
All right.
and we're cruising around. There's a house down the street from us, 6-bedroom house.
Oh.
Okay, had an
Wow.
open house, so we walked through it. Nothing in it,
Completely empty.
completely empty. Had the fresh paint,
Yeah.
obviously no clutter. There was literally nothing in it. The house had kind of a weird layout, but we walked through it
Yeah.
and kind of checked it out and just left. And we're like, it was kind of a weird pad.
Yeah.
We keep riding our bikes. We go down a street
Yeah.
or two, and we see another open house sign, and we're like, man, let's just do it.
Yeah.
So we rode our bikes over there. This place was decluttered,
Yeah.
painted,
Yeah.
landscaped,
Ooh.
and staged to perfection.
Yeah.
I'm talking pictures, furniture, beds, kids' beds, you name it.
Nice. Yeah. Done
And
right.
it was pristine. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I left there, and I was like, I gotta get my act together. I gotta, because
Yeah.
man, I was like, I could see
You
myself.
could see yourself. Yeah.
Here.
You start kind of like putting your stuff up on the walls, or just kind of seeing like, how they use that space. How you can see yourself sitting down on
the
that
TV
couch.
on the wall. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is really nice.
Such a
So,
difference, right?
with that being said,
Right.
now that I gotta get my act together,
Sure.
what are the 3 things I need to do to kind of like prepare myself to buy?
3 things. All right. So, I mean, there's a couple important things that you have to do. I would say the top ones, credit score is that one that we talked about. That's the big, that affects a lot of your, it affects your interest rate. It affects how a lender would look at your situation, and whether or not they're going to lend to you, and what rate you're going to get. So starting off with that, getting your credit score, to its optimum level would be, I think, one of the bigger ones to do.
Okay.
Now that is easy to say, to just say, hey, get your credit score up, but in doing that, that's a lot of work. So there's a lot of things that you can do to just kind of get your credit score in tip-top shape. Pay down credit cards, anything that's like really outstanding that you have, that is negatively affecting your score. And it's hard to say which one of those things is going to be the best, what's going to be the best method, which is why, talking to a financial advisor who knows those specific things would be a good kind of starting point. Full disclosure here, anybody listening, the advice that I give is just like my own kind of personal experience with it, and my professional experience is, it's only in that, like, the generality of like getting credit scores up. Talk to your financial advisor and find out what you should do in your specific circumstance. But getting your credit score up, paying down some debt, and making sure that your score is as high as you can possibly get it is pretty critical in the lending process. If you're below a certain credit score, you might not even get accepted for a loan. And if you are at a higher tier, you'll get a better rate. So that is, that is a kind of short and sweet. Number one, get your credit score up. But it's a big task to do that. Yeah. But talking to a financial advisor, getting, somebody, figuring out what you can do to boost your score, boost your numbers, I think is like, really beneficial to anybody looking to buy a house, to get that kind of in line.
Okay. So there's one. What's 2?
Number 2, I would say, prepare to save some money, put some money aside. Now those, traditionally everybody talks about 20% down. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case. In fact, a lot of people, myself included, when I bought my house, I didn't put 20% down. It's just a matter of what you're comfortable with, and then also, based on that, what number you need to kind of hit for your, reserves and to have like in your account. And then closing costs. That's a different kind of line item, and that'll kind of change depending on like the loan.
Okay. So we have credit. We have saving up some money.
Yeah, saving up some cash.
Okay. And then what's our last one?
Third one, I would say this is more kind of in preparation, and more like what not to do. And that's like, don't make any new purchases. Don't make any big purchases. Don't open up, any new like lines of credit that are going to, where you're going to like run up a credit card. Don't make a big purchase like don't go out and buy a car. That's the biggest thing. Don't buy a car. Wait until, just don't do it like in preparation for getting a loan. I mean, once you've had your credit score run, once you've submitted all your paperwork and all of your documents to, the lender to get qualified for it, just don't touch anything. Leave it as it is, because any difference in your income ratio, your debt to income ratio, any difference in your credit score, all of that can have an impact on your loan and whether or not you qualify for it. So you want to just kind of prepare yourself, while you're getting in this mindset of buying a house. Let's just hold off on any new expenses and like not take on any new debt, and just focus on what we have right now, and let's focus on getting a house. Let's focus on keeping our finances in order, keeping our expenses low, our debt to income ratio low, no new purchases. Don't go out and spend money on, on a brand new car or anything like that. Just keep everything just kind of as it is, because that kind of flat line of, of no movement in your credit and no movement in your spending and all that, that'll pay off once it comes down to, getting your loan funded, where there's not going to be any hiccups. If you open up a new line of credit, if you open up a new, you go and get a car that you're going to buy and get a new auto loan, everything's out the window now. Now you got to start from scratch and figure out what you have to, how you're going to have to figure this thing out.
All right. I like it. All right. So our credit, save up some dough, don't make any new purchases, and really focus on the house.
That's it.
I like it.
I think
Love
so.
it.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much does it for this episode. It was a long one. It was a long and little creepy one. Got a little
heavy. A little heavy. Yeah.
We're gonna have to stage this whole place one more time. That's it for this episode of Real in the Field podcast. We'll be back next week with another episode. Big thanks to Blake Means from Name Taken for the theme music. You're gonna hear that song from here on out. So enjoy it, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you heard, like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Big thank you to Blake Means from Name Taken for the theme music. We'll be back next week with a new episode of Real in the Field podcast. Until then, talk to you.